also have a chocolate. Oh my god.
Spirit Airlines is an abomination.
Spirit? Why would you ever fly Spirit? What is wrong with you, dude? That was your first mistake, you dummy.
You're the one who booked my flight.
What happened? Welcome back.
Welcome back
to Puerto Rico.
Welcome back to Puerto Rico and welcome back to the podcast, everybody.
I knew we were going to go different routes with that one. They're both P words.
Yeah.
But yeah, you made it back home.
I did.
You made it back to this podcast, viewers. So welcome.
Welcome.
What happened, man? Tell me about it.
Bro, I got it. I can't decide what's worse about Spirit Airlines, and no matter how I say it, this is gonna sound very conceited. I don't know what's worse about Spirit Airlines, the actual airline or the people who fly it. Because I don't know, maybe it's because it's super like cheap and accessible, like literally it's like anybody could get on there and all that stuff. So like it's kind of like it's like versus a actual like hotel versus going to a motel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's that kind of situation where
it is the motel of airlines for sure.
Exactly. Where like on my first flight over there, let me talk about the actual flight, the airline first. First of all, on the first flight, the one headed from Austin to Fort Lauderdale, we took off 30 minutes later than we were supposed to.
Oh, God.
I don't even remember the reason why it was. We were fully boarded, and we were all sitting there for 30 minutes before we actually took off. Something about how they packed in the bags in the plane or something. I don't know. Something.
Well, they got to feed the hamsters so that the wheels start turning on the engine.
Gears in the hamster engine room.
That's how they keep the flights so cheap. They got to hamster power them.
Yeah. But, they have child labor in the back in their little airline sweatshops, just grinding those gears, apparently.
Jesus.
But, yeah, we were 30 minutes late, and I don't know if it's... Listen, man, I don't know anything about, like, aeronautics or how plane works or whatever you want to call that science. So I don't know whether it was just the plane themselves or the people who were flying. I don't know if the plane was jank or the pilot was fucking blasted off his ass. But that was the roughest flight I've ever been on, and there was no bad weather. The pilot himself was just like, oh, the weather's great, we're going to have a smooth flight. No, that was like the most topsy-turvy, bumpy plane ride I've ever been on. Ever.
Oh, no.
Period, bro. Where I was looking around and I was relaxed because I was just like, if the plane crashes, what am I going to do about it? But people around me were like, you know when people are like nervous but they don't want to freak out and they're just like looking at each other?
You can feel the anxiety though.
Yeah. It was that. And the landing was even worse, bro. The landing, it literally felt like the plane was about to fucking fall apart as soon as it hit the tarmac. It was It was insane. And the second flight was the same. Again, a completely different flight on a completely different terminal with a completely different pilot. Again, we were like, this time we were 40 minutes late from takeoff.
Jeez. At least there wasn't like because I was worried that maybe because you were 30 minutes late, like you had to run to your next terminal or something.
No, because I had enough delay time. But there was a flight that was going to, like, I think, I don't remember where it was, somewhere in like Central America, but that when we were boarding off, they had 10 minutes to get to their next flight.
Oh God, I thought they just missed it completely. That would have sucked.
So they were just like, the people who have flights for this flight, and this flight, make sure to let them out first because they're gonna be late. I'm just like, those people must be pissed.
Yeah, that happened to me once, and I was stressed, bro. Like, I actually ran across the airport.
Oh yeah,
they
were booking it.
Every time I go to the airport, I see some people running, and I'm like, bro, what's the rush? Like, you made it. Like, why don't people get here, 2 hours early, like they recommend or whatever? But it's usually because they're in connecting flights. And then it happened to me, and I realized, like, man, that sucks.
Fuck. Bro, and yeah, the second flight got off late again, the same thing, bumpy ass flight, and it was like an old ass plane, bro, old ass to the point where like the backs of the seats didn't have any fillings, and the trays were like like these really spindly metal weird trays that didn't even.
I don't think it's even an old plane, man. I think they just that's how Spirit makes their shit so cheap.
Dude.
Like
but
their
it was
planes
like
are
even
just that
worse
shoddy.
than the last one. The other one had at least, you know, those plastic kind of like it slides into the back of the seat, and the seats were cushioned. Not this one, bro. The seats literally looked like these rackety put together little monstrosities. It was awful.
Oh,
and the same thing, bumpy ass flight. The landing was super rough. I was done, bro. I was done with those flights, man. I was honestly saying I would prefer this thing fucking crashed, bro. This is a bad time.
I think next time for sure I mean, because the thing is, the other thing that sucks about Spirit is you save like $80 to $100 on the flight itself, but then you have to pay $30 just to get your baggage on there.
It's, to the point where comes out at the same price as going like on American Airlines or something.
Yeah,
which is way better. I'm gonna say it right now, American Airlines ain't never done me wrong. Tell you that right now, bro. You got that in-flight entertainment, and you know their seats are nice, it's comfy. They recline. You could fold the head thing so you could like rest your neck to the side. Not Spirit. The Spirit flight, you couldn't even recline the seat.
Yeah, you feel like you're in a hospital.
You feel like you're in a torture chamber, bro. You feel like in Black Ops when you're like, "Where's the numbers, Mason? What are the numbers?" You know?
That's what I was thinking of, like some kind of asylum chair, like you're tied down, like you can't move.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. It was the worst.
And that's so true, too. Like, I forget, American has, like, the little, like, TV screen in front of you. You can watch movies and stuff. Like, I mean, people mainly use their phones nowadays anyway, but, like, it's nice to at least have the option.
Yeah, for sure.
And they give you pretzels.
They give you pretzy wetsies with your little orange juice and your snackies. Toasty. But, yeah, no, I did not.
Never flying Spirit again.
No, never again. You couldn't. Damn. You could not pay me to get back on Spirit, bro. Could not.
All right, we'll make sure to get you that first class next time.
They wanted to pay me. There was a bunch of on both flights. Both flights were full, and they were just like, whoever gives up their flight, $300. And I'm like, no, I just want to go home.
Dude, they tried multiple. I remember when we were booking or checking in for your flight, it was like telling you the same thing, right? Yeah. Like, take this flight voucher for $300. That's three shitty flights instead of one.
Exactly. Oh, God. And then, like, now if we're going to the people, all right, on my first flight, I would say the first flight was the worst one when it comes to this.
Okay. Actually, before you do, since we're just to finish about the plane, because I looked it up, and it says Spirit operates something called an Airbus Fit Fleet, one of the youngest and most fuel-efficient fleets in the U.S., adding a brand new plane every month.
That's bullshit.
The average age of our aircraft is just 5.5 years. But, like, looking at the pictures, this thing looks tiny and shoddy as hell.
It is, bro. They build them out of planks. It looks like, you know, when Ed, and Eddie would do, like, their scams? And they would just, like, put shit together. That's what those planes are on the inside, I bet.
They took their inspiration from the Wright brothers a little too literally.
A little too literally, yeah. You know.
Jeez, yeah, no, this thing does not look... Like, I don't know, I assume that... You know the Boeing or whatever it's called? Yeah. I assume that all airlines use that, but I guess not.
No, because they're expensive.
Yeah, probably. I mean, definitely.
By the way, there was something I was wondering, and this will be with my poor boy ignorance. I've never been on a plane that has more than 2 aisles, but in like plane movies, I've always seen these planes that have like 3 aisles and have huge like cabin space. Do those even exist, or is that just a movie thing?
So, I think the first time I came to Austin to like see the city, and apartments and stuff, we actually flew, and like this is the first time I flew after COVID. So I assumed that they were gonna space people out and like, you know, have maybe not social distance because you're still in a plane, but like at least maybe some kind of not fill up the plane completely. But nah, dude, we were in a 3-seater or 3-aisle one. So it had 3 seats and then a hallway, 3 more seats in the middle and a hallway, and then 3 on the right.
So they do
and that shit was packed to the brim. Like, I have never flown in a plane that packed. And yeah, they do exist. It was American.
What? Why don't I? Are those like more expensive or something?
I think it just depends on the availability. So to Puerto Rico, I would assume that like there's not that many people flying there, you know.
I see.
But mine was from Chicago to, I think, Dallas. So that seems like Chicago, first off, is like the busiest airport in the U.S., I think, because it's right in the middle. And Texas is like one of the most populated states. So I think they only save it for those like really high, like, you know, flights to L.A., I'm assuming, would use those too.
I've always wanted to fly on first class at least one time in my life, just to see what it's like.
Same. I actually never have. I got upgraded one time, but I think it was to like the one right before right before. Is it business class?
Business class, yeah.
Yeah, and that was fun because I had the extra leg room. You can really kick your seat back. Like,
damn,
that was a comfy ride.
That's bougie.
But I've never gotten first class. I didn't even upgrade myself. It was them that did it. Like, I wouldn't pay for that crap, dude. It's way too much.
Yeah, I've heard it's like absurdly expensive.
Yeah, like I think a first class ticket is like, I mean, I don't know, the one, like if the one you got was like 100, first class for that flight would have been like 4 to 5. So I don't think it's probably, I mean, unless you're super rich, it's not worth.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like, I don't know, man.
I think I'd rather just fly business. Because it seems like it would still probably be expensive, but it doesn't seem as expensive as like first class.
Yeah, I think if I was like a legit businessman, like, or if I was, I don't know, what's another good example? Like a sports team or, you know, someone that travels frequently.
Yeah.
Then I could see it because you don't want them to be jet lagged. You know, you don't want to be like, if you're gonna be in a very long flight, especially, you want to be comfy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to land there and, like I said, either you're going to a business meeting or you're going to be, like, doing a sports thing, you know? Like, you want to be well-rested. That's, like, the only times I can see it.
I've heard a lot of stories that people who fly business are mostly, like, miserable. It's like these cynical, horrible businessmen who hate everything and everyone.
Probably.
That'd be fun. Just to be the one
I always love
dude.
seeing, like, yeah, I feel like when you see it, it's always... Honestly, I always just see old fucks. Like, it's always old people. And then there's, like, the one Jeff Bezos looking dude. Like, just, I don't know. Target t-shirt, you know, AirPods in.
But, yeah. And then, like, going back to the people, bro. On my first flight, there was this one lady who was sitting in front of me who was coughing up a storm. So if anyone on that plane was paranoid that they were going to catch COVID... I feel bad.
Oh, she was not helping.
She was coughing up a storm, bro. It literally sounded like she was dying. And then, like, whatever snacks she would eat, she would just, like, drop the empty chip bags or wrappers on the floor, dude.
Oh, come on, dude.
And
man. Wait, was that from Texas or?
That was, yeah, from Texas to Fort Lauderdale.
Of course. That's an anti-masker right there going to spring break.
Yep. And then on top of that, there was this one lady who was sitting right next to me. I was on a window seat. She was in the middle seat. And I don't think I think she was like from Guatemala or something, but she didn't really speak English, and which was fine because I speak Spanish, so it wasn't like no big deal there. But what she would do is occasionally, since I kept my window open since it was nighttime, you know, no light came in, and I was trying to sleep. But she would do this weird fucking thing where she would want to record what was going on outside of the window for some reason. But instead,
bro, it's probably her first time flying.
Maybe, but like instead of recording it like from where she was, she would reach over across from me and like put her phone against the window to record what was going on outside, so her arm was like directly in front of my face.
Wait, were you on the window seat?
Yes, and she was in the middle seat.
Damn.
And she would extend her arm over across my face to record what was going on in the window. And there were a bunch of times she would do it while I was wide awake, but there were a bunch of times where I was like in sleep and then, you know, feeling like that thing brush in front of my face.
Up
I would wake up and there's an arm in front of my face. And I looked over to her and I said, you know, I said in Spanish, hey, do you want to switch seats so you won't have to do that? I'm perfectly fine sleeping in the middle seat if you want to be recording and looking outside of the window. And you could tell she was one of those very like non-confrontational, she'll keep herself in an uncomfortable situation just to not have a confrontation kind of people. Because she was like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. It's no big deal. I'm done. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever.
And then she did it again.
Then I would fall asleep and she did it again.
Gosh.
And I was too tired to just go like, hey, bitch, what do you take my seat so you can stop doing that? That's fucking absurd what you're doing.
I would have traded window seat for a shoulder, you know? Like, just let me sleep on your fucking shoulder. I'll trade you a seat.
But she didn't want to. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's dark outside. What are you even recording?
She's like waiting to see some lights.
I was losing it, bro. I was just trying to fucking sleep. And you know me.
Maybe she was just trying to make sure that she's still like on Earth.
I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't know fucking reasoning. But it was fucking obnoxious, bro. And you knew I didn't sleep. You know, I told you like before I left the apartment, you and Karen went to sleep, but I knew I wasn't gonna catch any Z's, and my intention was that so I could get on the plane nice and tired and I would sleep through the whole flight, but I couldn't because this fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but it kept fucking putting her arm in front of my face. You know,
that's pretty annoying.
So
I remember I woke up at some point like around like 2 or 3. And I was going to come out to say bye, but I couldn't, bro. I was, like, dead.
That's fine. I left the door unlocked just in case so someone could come in and steal your stuff as revenge.
Nice.
I'm kidding. I told Karen to
Classy.
lock the door.
Very classy.
I told Karen to lock the door. I'm not a monster. But that was the first flight. And then the second flight wasn't as bad. There was this like brother sister combo that was sitting next to me, and you know they were chill and all that stuff. They were like little weeaboos, but occasionally he would fall asleep and lean a little bit too close to my side of the chair to where where it's just like I'm just like squeezed, trying not to touch him.
Oni-chan.
But next to me on the other side though, there was this group of 2 Valley girls who, you know that they were like trust fund kids. Because all they were talking about was horrible things about their coworkers, making fun of like mental issues and all that stuff, making fun of poor people and talking about how many different places they visited and how many vacations they had. And how shit the service was, and how shit the locals are, and I'm like, wow.
And they were going to Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then one of the girls was talking about how her wedding and all that stuff, and her husband's always busy, and I'm just like, oh yeah, he's cheating on your ass. Nice. And that was the whole flight, bro. I looked to like the people in the seat in front of her, and at one point he looked back at me and he gave me that that head shake of like recognition of just like these bitches.
Yep.
Where even the people around them were just like these are vile, awful women.
Yeah.
But they were like talking loud, bro, for the whole fucking plane to hear them. They had no shame. And I'm just like, how bougie can you be if you're flying Spirit?
Oh my god.
And
that's what I would have said at the end of the flight.
Yeah.
It's like, alright, if you're gonna be talking this much shit, like, why are you on Spirit?
And then that was the second fucking flight. Not as bad as the first one, but still annoying. Because at the second flight, I couldn't sleep anymore. I was just playing Monster Hunter on my DS the whole flight.
Nice. How was that, by the way? I have unlocked the third eye for Gabe to the world of modding, or I guess hacking technically.
Yeah, so give a little context. I was pissed because like I'd lost my Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate save data from back in the day, and the way that game worked is like there's these things called charms that give like specific skills and blah blah blah. But like the game has this weird functionality that as soon as you start the game, you get like this random roll of which charms you can get, and like there's this certain
RNG, my favorite.
You know, it's the only one that did that, because in every other Monster Hunter game, you could just get whichever charm, like that was in the game. For some reason, this one just like set different tables, and there were a certain amount and types of charms on that, and you can't get anything outside of the table that you were given. And there were some tables that were just bad, like there was no good charms in it. There were, you know, or a certain skill wouldn't even appear on that table, and I got one of those, so I was pissed. And I said, fuck this.
Sucks.
I'm modding it so that I can get the charm that I fucking need for end game. And so yeah, you helped me mod my little DS so I could keep playing on that save file without having to restart over and over until I got on a table that was actually good.
Essentially, for anybody that plays Pokemon, like it's like the first. Excuse me. It's like the first time when you discover that you can gen and change whatever stats you want.
Yeah.
And I feel that the first time for Pokemon fans when they do that, it's either you have this very like snobby like, oh, that's cheating kind of mentality, or you just fully embrace it and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get myself a level 100 Mewtwo, baby.
That's what I did when I discovered the Game Shark back in the day. I'm just like, I'm going to have every Pokemon ever at level 100. I'm going to have 1,000,000 Master Balls, and I'm going to control which Pokemon spawns where. And, yeah, that shit was fucking epic.
For me, I see it as long as you're not ruining other people's experience online.
Yeah.
Like, as in, you're not doing illegal Pokemon is the term that they use.
Yeah.
So for Monster Hunter, for example, like if you gave yourself an impossible charm, you know, that would be bad. But as long as you're doing it to give yourself something that already exists and is just either really hard or really tedious to get, then I don't really see the harm in it.
Yeah,
you know?
Plus you can't play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate Online from the DS, only from the Wii U. So even if I did give myself a God Charm, I'd still only be able to play solo. But I didn't give myself a God Charm. I just gave myself the Edgemaster 3...
You just gave yourself a Jesus charm.
Yeah, I gave myself a Jesus charm. And
a Jesus gold star.
I was tempted, bro. When you showed me the item box, I was just like, oh, I'm going to give myself like 1,000,000 Mega Demon Drugs. But I was just like, no, let me restrain myself. I'm just going to end up ruining my own fun.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like I even though like it's convenient to, at least in Pokemon, you know, because there's so many stupid things in Pokemon, like IVs and EV. EVs are not that bad, but IVs are inherently, when you catch something, they just have random stats.
Those,
and the only way you can get them better is like through breeding, and breeding takes freaking forever. So for things like that, I feel that it's really not. I don't think it should be that frowned upon, especially for people that play online. Like, I don't know, man. It's if you want to diversify and have different teams and stuff, like it can take
forever,
weeks, like literal weeks to build even like a couple of teams. So
no, the same thing happens in Monster Hunter. There are certain things that you could just be like, that were tedious in the older games. No, it's not that bad after World, but like having to constantly farm just so you can make like you know, mega potions and life powders and all that stuff, or like the infamous like Mega Demon Drugs that back in the old games you needed this specific item that only the specific monster game, and it would always give you only very little of every time you hunt it. So like it would always be like a constant farm fest. You know, for me it was just like, if someone hacks their game to give themselves like 1,000 Mega Demon Drugs, whatever. You know, again, it's still just an item in the game that gives you a slight little boost, you know, and if they
I should clarify actually, because like Pokemon Sword and Shield especially, they made it a lot easier to breed Pokemon now, or like, it's still tedious, but they made it a lot easier, so I gotta give them credit for that at least. But back in the day, man, I could not, man, I could not be bothered to do that shit the legit way.
I tried to do it in X and Y, and I got bored after a while. I only ended up making one solid team.
Same, actually. I remember with the Horde battles. Yeah, I made like one good team.
And then But yeah, like that's the same thing. Like if someone wants to give themselves a whole bunch of zenny so they don't have to worry about not having enough zenny to craft an armor, you know, whatever, who cares? But like yeah, where I draw the line is going online with a fucking charm that gives you like a +10 on +20 on edge master and +20 on earplugs and +20 on attack, you know, shit that would never exist. That's when you're kind of like, okay, now you're just being a prick.
Dude, people do that in Dark Souls too. I remember now that I think when Dark Souls came out on PC originally, and people had like cheat engine or whatever, they were like making themselves like level 1,000 or something and then playing online. It's like, how do you have fun doing that? How do you have fun just pub stomping noobs that like just started
like
the game?
Abusing
like
the system. I think that's like the kick that they gotta get out of it.
I mean, again, for me, I feel it's about balance. Like, you know, give yourself a couple rare candies, but don't just like bully people then with your level 100s. Like,
yeah, I've never really gotten that high out of abusing the system. I get bored too quick.
Same. I feel like it's not fun. Yeah, just like pub stomping people like that. But then again, there's a lot of people that just suck at games that just want to experience
what it's like to win. Good, yeah.
Hence why people pay others to elo boost them, for example, in League, which I will never get. Like, that's just like...
me neither, bro. That shit would happen in other games, too. Like, I remember back in the day, in Destiny, people would pay people to beat raids for them and shit.
Oh, my God. Like, what?
They do it in Monster Hunter, too, dude. I remember discovering that people pay other people to beat a monster for them, and I'm like, what? What?
What's even the point? Like, who are you trying to impress?
Exactly.
You know?
Like, what's the point?
That's the thing about, like, yeah, for any of those, like, who are you trying to impress? Like, who's going to look at you and be, oh, I beat Zelda Magdaros on Master Rank, but you really didn't.
You paid someone. Bro, I was tempted to get into that. I was just like, shit, I'll fucking take money for someone who wants me to beat Fatalis for him. Shit.
I mean, yeah, no shame to the people that are the ones beating games for others, but, like, definitely shame to the ones
who are paying the money. That shit's absurd, bro.
That's sad, honestly.
Especially like, for a game that's not that hard, dude.
Yep. Ugh. I was going to say for a non-online game, too, but I don't know. Even... Yeah, no matter which game it is, like League, for example, like literally, who are you trying to impress with your fake ranking? Like, is there like an e-girl that will only talk to you if you're master or what?
Like diamond. I think some people, I guess an argument could be made for people who just like want to get out of the quote unquote hard stuck situation. But even then, I feel like you're just gonna drop back in there because you suck.
No, exactly.
You know.
No, you know what? No, I have the perfect counter argument to that because I have a friend that would, well, not gonna lie, I may have bought a couple accounts too, but it's mainly because I wanted different characters. But I only buy low level accounts that are unranked, and then I rank them up myself. I had a friend who would buy already gold or like platinum accounts because he wanted to prove that he was at that level. And then every time that he would end up dropping back down to silver. I'm just like, bro.
Fucking know
you
your
can't
place.
get there yourself. You definitely don't belong there.
Exactly. I don't believe in the whole hard stuck thing. I do believe that people trolling and inting makes it harder, but I don't believe it makes it impossible, like some people believe.
I believe, and maybe this isn't just for League, it probably applies to like most online games that are team games. So like Valorant, Overwatch, it like that, you know, like I think any team online game, there's always a 33% chance. So there's three scenarios, right? The first is that you're going to win the game no matter what because the people in your lobby are just, and maybe including yourself, are just inherently better than the enemy.
Yeah.
The second scenario is the opposite, where the enemy is just so much better than your team that there's no chance. Even if you try your hardest, you're not going to win. And then the third scenario is where you have to prove yourself, where you know that the game is in your hands. And if you play to your skill level, you can easily win and climb.
Yeah.
So when you're in that third scenario, that's where you have to prove that you're actually as skilled as you think you are. And you can definitely carry.
I don't know. Sometimes I guess with like League for me, it's always been that situation where the toxicity always overwhelms my sense of achievement.
Bro, come on, just mute all. It's not
That's what
that
I do.
hard.
I do mute all, but like, you know, even if you mute them, you can see when someone's inting, and that frustrates me.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the toxicity overwhelms my sense of achievement, where I'm just like,
Yeah, it goes beyond the chat. Like, I think more so you're just getting triggered when you see that your
definitely.
teammates
Very much
playing
inted.
badly.
Very much inted. Not even playing badly, like intentionally throwing the game. That shit happens.
No, I
way
feel that.
too
It's
much in rank. If my
people
teammates are
have
playing
very-
badly, I'm still kind of just like, all right, maybe they're having a rough match and a rough like
Yeah.
day or whatever, you know. Or maybe they're just
Yeah,
not
it goes
that good.
beyond just the gameplay. It's more like their mental. Like,
Yeah.
I get pretty tilted too when I see that my teammates, not that they're playing badly, but like they're just so easily willing to give up.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And that definitely happens a lot more often in lower ranks
Oh yeah.
than the higher you get. So,
Because the higher you get,
Yeah, I
people
feel
don't even
that.
fucking use chat anymore.
yeah, exactly. That's why I was surprised you didn't know you can like mute pings and stuff, because I've gotten used to that for so long. Like, whenever someone spam pings like your name or your character or something, you know they're already triggered by you, so I just instantly mute.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not dealing with that shit.
I
Like,
just have chat by default set to mute all, like for every game.
and this is why League will never have voice chat.
Yep. Oh boy. But oh well, you know. Yeah, modding Monster Hunter, pretty fun. So I entertained myself on the plane. And after I landed, like, I was in the mindset that I was just gonna go home and sleep. But since my sister picked me up, she like took me out to eat and we hung out for a bit, bro. I got home dead.
Oh man, I feel like that always happens. Like, low key, that's why whenever I have friends fly in, I always make them late, because I know that usually the days that I travel, I consider it like not wasted, but like that day is gone. You know,
Yeah.
like that day is just for the traveling.
Cause you come off of those flights so exhausted, man. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
just sitting there in this weird condensed space, and once you get off the plane, it like all hits you, and you get super groggy, and it sucks. Plus, she took me like to this ramen place that was actually really good, and I ate my fill. So on top of that, I was like, my tummy was full, I was sleepy, I was groggy. So as soon as I got home, I didn't unpack anything. I went straight to bed.
Was it better than that Austin ramen?
Yeah. Yeah,
Bro, you know what's funny? Another friend of mine linked me an article that was like the best ramen in Texas, or the best ramen in the U.S. is in Texas. And I asked him, I was like, is it Tatsuya? And he's like, oh shit, it is Tatsuya.
No
and I'm
way.
like, dog, I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Because the thing is, like, honestly, the time when we had it with you, it was not that good. I admit it too. But the first time I had it, I thought it was probably one of the best ramens I've had. So I'm really sad that when we took you there, it wasn't that good.
I wonder what happened.
Then again, we went to a different location.
Oh, maybe that's
So-
what it was.
It could be, yeah. The one near our place is like really, really nice. Like I like, I'm gonna have to have it again just to make sure, because yeah, the night that we had it together, it did not hit the spot.
It didn't. It hit the spot when I had to go to the toilet, that's for sure. But I think
I guess it hit the spot, but it wasn't like,
it wasn't like
amazing.
absolutely amazing. Yeah, it was still good, but not the best ramen I had. I like the one in Chicago more.
Mhm.
That was good.
Same actually.
Plus, they had those
But-
pork buns. Ooh, ooh. Shit was good.
What about your post-flight entertainment?
Post-flight entertainment. I'm losing.
There
myself.
was something you were very much looking forward to that was coming out.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say I was very much looking forward to.
I don't know about you. Seemed pretty excited about it when you were here.
Itself. I was looking forward to the effect that it would have. That's what I was looking.
You just
forward
wanted to see the internet reaction, didn't you?
Yes, and not as exciting as I thought it would be, but definitely not disappointing. The internet reaction. I think it's even better than I expected, because here's the thing: we're talking about fucking Zack Snyder's little whatever.
In case you don't know, we're talking about the Snyder cut.
Snyder getting his cut finally. First of all,
Justice League.
I'm
in case that wasn't clear, because I feel there's some people out there that probably have no idea still, but we're talking about Justice League, and let me just explain it just in case. So the Justice League movie was clearly not very well received when it first came out.
No, it was not.
And as far as I understand, part of it was because it was actually originally directed by Zack Snyder, who's the guy that made like the previous DC movies like Batman v Superman, the other Superman one, right?
Yeah, I think he also did Man of Steel.
And something happened to his daughter, right? Something very tragic.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly if she died or what, but he could not continue the project, or either that or they cut him from the project because he said he had to take a break.
He left from the project because of that.
Yeah, exactly. And then DC, instead of like, I guess, waiting it out to see if he could like maybe with some time. I mean, I guess when they already had the movie that far done, they couldn't really wait. But the point is they gave it to Joss Whedon, who's the guy that does the Avengers movies, which doesn't make any freaking sense to me. How you hand the movie over to the direct competitor. Like, that almost seems like sabotage, like self-sabotage.
It's just, the reason I was skeptical about Joss Whedon was less about like his track record with the MCU, and just because this was before a time where cancel culture was at its at its peak, and people knew, or most people were informed how much of a piece of shit Joss Whedon was. I already knew because like I was a fan of like Firefly and other stuff that he made, and I had known from a while about the reports of him being just an absolute scum. But
I didn't know about that.
And that's
stuff,
why I was
actually
always conflicted with Avengers being so good, the first one, because it was great and I loved it and I loved the MCU, but I don't like Joss Whedon. So I was just like, it was one of those separate the art from the artist moments for me.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon is notoriously narcissistic and horrible and awful. So, that definitely played into the factor of why his version of the Justice League ended up being a horrible mess. Because he took a lot of what Zack Snyder made and cut a bunch of stuff out that provided a lot more context and continuity to the story, and in order to make it quote unquote shorter. But then he had added a whole bunch of unnecessary bits that just didn't fit with the tone of the movie and caused a lot of like contradictions and like holes in the narrative that just made the movie an awful mess. Like the theatrical cut is irredeemably awful.
So that was the original Justice League that came out like a couple years ago in the movie theaters.
Justice League, as they say.
And then now, a couple days ago, we had the original vision by Zack Snyder
it was a
completed
journey
now.
Trying to get that out, because like at first they weren't going to do it. Because I'm pretty sure at first Zack didn't want to do it either. It was maybe later down the line where he was just like, you know what, yeah.
And that's what I mean, though. Like, I feel that after they give it to your direct competitor, like, not to Zack personally, but, like, there's always the Marvel DC. Like, they're both the big superhero,
the rivalry. The ridiculous rivalry that shouldn't be a thing. But. And
they freaking, like, I don't know. To me, that still feels weird. Like, that they really gave it to Joss Whedon. Yeah. Like, I can't help but my conspiracy theorist side, like, kick in and think that he really did make it bad on purpose, just to spite DC fans.
Who knows? I just know that that was a period in time, bro, where like the Snyder cultists were really on their peak, bro. And like there was always this side of me where I was just like, maybe they shouldn't release the Snyder cut just to not make these very horribly toxic subset of Zack Snyder fans feel validated, because they were bad, man. They were like death threats, bad, going after the creators of the movie and content creators that would like follow the situation alike, and they were just irrational, spreading baseless rumors.
I don't even know why I was laughing, bro. That's horrible.
A whole bunch of
I don't even know how those people exist. Like, I don't. When has Zack Snyder ever
been good?
Like, shown that he's... Wait, what?
When has Zack Snyder ever shown that he's deserving of that kind of fucking cult following.
Exactly. Like, I don't think any of those other superhero movies he's done are particularly amazing.
I don't even like 300, man. I'm gonna fucking tell you right now. I don't even like 300.
I think it's visually cool, but that's about it. Like, man knows how to make something look stunning.
I thought
like,
it was visually cool for, like, prepubescent boys at the time. Because it's
that's true, actually.
You know?
Because if you rewatch it now, it does feel...
It's cringe.
It's like...
It's cringe as hell. It's very, like, self-indulgent, a whole bunch of unnecessary, like, you know, frat boy, like, fantasy of, like, these super jacked dudes with a whole bunch of slow motion shots and titties everywhere and fucking blood and guts. And I just always felt like 300 didn't have a lot of fucking substance to it outside of, you know, epic, testosterone. But whatever. Yeah, I know I'm probably in the minority with that view.
I don't even think you are. Like, in hindsight, or now, you know, years later, I don't think it's, like, it shouldn't be that big of a, like, a hot take or anything.
Nah.
But
Who knows?
I mean, yeah, I guess just 300 obviously was very popular. And then Watchmen kind of was, too. Even though I never really got the hype of the Watchmen movie either.
Yeah. Thought it was boring.
I just thought it was, like, unnecessarily trying to be edgy superheroes,
Yeah,
which
is what Zack
there's
Snyder's
definitely
known for.
there's an audience for that, and I guess those are the diehard Snyder fans, right?
Yeah. Because the fucking subject matter of the movie are always fucking awful. I don't think Zack Snyder himself is awful. I just feel like he likes to tackle this very just, like, dark and bad subject matter. And it's gonna attract people who are into that dark and bad subject matter, which are these fucking lunatics who fucking...
You know how I see it is, like, The Dark Knight is the... Maybe not base level, but it's, like, the way to handle that type of take on a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
In a... I don't know how to word this, but basically what
It's
I'm trying to
much
say
more
is The Dark
grounded.
Knight... Yeah, The Dark Knight is the right way to do it. Zack Snyder is taking it and pushing the edge factor to, like, 200.
Yeah. So, like, I've never really liked his movies, and I've never thought he was all that great of a director. Like, he's not horrible or bad. It's just, like, his stuff is
Man,
kinda
just put
cringe.
slow-mo on everything.
Yeah,
Come
bro,
on.
did
What
you
are people
see-
going to
did
get
you
past
see
it?
that, like, 10% of the Snyder Cut is slow-mo?
Oh, no.
It's absurd, bro. Some of those shots are so and there were so many shots in that movie. Like, I know you probably didn't see it, but there was this one shot close to the beginning of the movie where, like, Batman talks to Aquaman, and then Aquaman gets in the water, and there's this, like, 3-minute segment of just these, like I don't know whatever Nordic
Slow motion
women,
fish.
Nordic women singing, like, a fucking Viking song about Aquaman for, like, 3 minutes, and I'm like, bro, what is this doing here? Move on. What does this have to do with anything?
Who is this for, Zach?
And like, he does that a lot. He puts, like, these like very, like, edgy melodramatic, like, musical sequences with slow-mo on it where I'm just like, is this, like, a music video or a movie?
Is this Evanescence?
Exactly, bro. That's what it feels like. I'm just like, this looks like a fucking music video. Why is this here? And then he has slow motion for fucking anything, bro. For the most unnecessary thing, he puts slow motion, and I'm like, move it along, Zach. This movie could have been 3.5 hours or 3 hours if you just cut out all the slow mo shit. No, the
I
weird
only
music
watched
video
the scene where the Flash gets introduced, where slow motion, that's the one place where I would say slow motion actually makes sense, because it's the Flash.
But I have a statement
you know what I'm
with that,
talking about?
too.
Where I think that was like, that's new to the Snyder Cut, right? The way that Flash gets introduced and like he's saving the girl from
There's
the...
a lot of new shit with the Flash and a lot of new shit with the Cyborg. That cut did a lot of good for Cyborg, let me tell you, because he was nothing in the original one. He was just there in the original Justice
Yeah, it was
League.
really, really rushed.
Yeah, this
from
one
what I remember.
actually...
I think I have seen the original. I didn't see the Snyder Cut, but like you said earlier, you were just waiting for the internet reaction. I was waiting for my movie reviewers to talk about it.
Which I'm surprised a lot of them actually liked it. But I believe they're being very optimistic. Because I think we're past that age we're past that era in movie reviews where people are like more inclined to really just shit on stuff. I think we're currently in an era where people are a little bit more, like, to give benefit of the doubts and see the good in things, which, I appreciate. I think it's better than just needlessly shitting on everything and being a cynic for everything. But this is the one time where I'm just like, I don't know, feels kind of justified to shit on this fucking movie because, like, I've always seen it this way. I tweeted like a comparison. It kind of feels like, when you turn in your homework and you half-ass it and it's garbage, but then your teacher's like, listen, I'm going to give you one more opportunity.
Oh, no.
To, like, you could revise this and actually get a passing grade. And then you do it again and then you pass with, like, a C. Not even an A, like a C. That's what the Snyder Cut feels like to me. It feels like it's passable. I don't even think it's
where would you
good.
grade... where would you grade the Justice League then?
The Justice League is an absolute failing grade, like a 0. Like it's worth nothing. It is absolute shit show.
No.
So
come on, dude. Not even the Aquaman
Don't
fish
talk
jokes.
To me. That's enough. I don't want to hear it. Podcast over. No, but a 0. It's done. It's not good. And for me, the Snyder Cut is like a solid C plus.
Okay.
I didn't hate it, but I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. I think a lot of people really are looking at it on the lens of they had to swallow the original Justice League for so long that this is such a massive improvement that people are kind of like just like, all right, I'm going to focus on the good shit, which is fine. But I do feel like a lot of reviewers are really overlooking, like,
I think maybe it's exactly what you said. Like, because they had already experienced the shit show that was the original, this one is such an improvement in comparison. But if you were to see this as a standalone, like, if we were to think that this was what originally came out, which wouldn't even make sense because it's freaking 4 hours. And that's my main complaint is why the hell does it have to be so long?
It's absurd.
But... That's actually, from what I heard, at least in the reviews I saw, one of their main criticisms is still the length.
Yeah.
Because even though it does add a lot of exposition for the Flash and Cyborg, yeah, it's like, yeah, you don't need that much. There was a lot, like that scene with Aquaman, like you said, there was a lot that didn't need to be in there.
Yeah. I feel
and
like...
I heard they also did better for the villain.
Yeah,
which was my main...
Okay, Steppenwolf was better, but... not that much better. Like
I mean, he's still no Thanos, obviously. Like he's never gonna be Thanos.
Like even the I would say he's still as good as the worst Marvel villains. I just think he's.
Yeah, I was about to say, man. Like he ain't even Ultron at this point.
It's like he's still about as good as people like Malekith or whatever, or fucking Jeff Bridges in the first Iron Man. It's like, who cares?
Oh god, yeah, okay. That makes him seem real bad, honestly. Like that's.
He did nothing for me. I was more interested in what the fuck Dark Side was about, but he just seemed like a bitch to me, Steppenwolf. It was just like I was, but yeah, dude. For me, I'm glad the reviewers like it, but for me personally, I'm just like, as a film, I still think this is like not good. And I feel like it's very handicapped, bro. I've always seen it like, having this movie be 4 hours long and still calling it a movie feels like practically cheating. Yeah. It's more like a fucking miniseries.
I think they should have maybe took that approach. Make it something like what Marvel's doing now with WandaVision or the Captain show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just do a 4 or 5 part miniseries. But I guess then... they couldn't really call it the Snyder Cut, which was like the whole marketing thing.
But that's kind of like what I see it as. I see people just like, oh my god, they recontextualize so many things and they give like so much time to all these characters to give them like backstories and make you care. Yeah, because it's a 4 hour fucking long movie, man. Like, no shit, they're gonna have enough time to do all that stuff. And even then, he wastes a lot of time with unnecessary shit. So I honestly don't get like. Yeah, objectively, you could say they do all these things, but as a film, as a movie, is it all that impressive to me? No, because it has that huge handicap of the length and the hindsight of how shit the original was where they could go like, you can't convince me that this is exactly how the movie was like, you know, how they had it.
Oh no, not at all.
I'm 100% certain Zack Snyder went, you know, maybe we could tweak this a little just in case. Especially the last scene. There's like this last scene at the end of the movie that you could tell that was filmed a few months ago. Ben Affleck doesn't even look the same.
Oh, that's actually the other thing that the reviewers did not like. Apparently, there's like an epilogue, which I don't know if we should.
It is.
I guess we can talk about it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Bro.
All I saw was that Jared Leto's Joker shows up.
I love seeing the people who are just like, oh my god, this is the best Batman Joker interaction ever. Jared Leto has redeemed himself. And when that scene was on, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought I was in a fever dream when I saw Joker talking about jerking Batman off. And I'm like, wow, groundbreaking. This is... We're treading new ground here.
Like, what Batman and Joker have these people been exposed to where they think this is, like, the most realistic take? Like, I'm genuinely confused. Like, what... Did they grow up on Dark Knight and that wasn't enough for them? Like, I don't understand.
I feel like they were the chuny kids who would pretend to be Joker in high school, because that's exactly what Jared Leto sound like. Where there's weird voice where he was like, "Oh, Batman," he sounded like Dave Chappelle's white man impression. Where I'm just like, it sounds like, you know, it sounds like that one video. I don't know if you've seen of the guy who's just like, "I'm the Joker, baby." That's about as good as it was.
No, oh no, I'm in pain because first I cringed so hard at the scene, and then now you describing it that way is exactly what it is. I have no other explanation. Like,
oh my god, Batman
where
said
in
the
what
F-word.
comic, game, movie, where has Joker ever been that
such a
cringy, dude?
Lord,
I
dude.
don't.
Like,
how is that? It's literally like.
Well,
what band? Isn't Jared Leto from a freaking band or
cult.
something?
He has a cult, dude.
All right, we're done here. We're done. If you're gonna watch the Snyder Cut for whatever reason, just stop watching after the scene where they're all standing together.
That's where the movie should have fucking cut.
Thank us later.
Ridiculous, bro. And it's like,
don't expose yourself
to the... I can't get it out of my head, but if you kill me, who's gonna give you a reach around? Fucking phenomenal, bro. And Batman says the F word. Oh my god. Woo. And the Flash is fully CG in that scene. I don't know if you noticed, bro, but that is a fully CG Ezra Miller. It doesn't even look like fucking Ezra Miller.
They couldn't bring him back because he punched his fan.
Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Bro, wait, yeah, wasn't it there's also, wait, is that the same scene where it's like in the future or whatever?
Yeah, where he's like in that weird like mech suit, like when his
okay, yeah, because
his helmet
remember
comes
in is it in Batman Superman? There's like
a scene where
the
Flash
scene where they
shows
introduce
up,
the Flash. It's him. It's a different actor entirely. I don't think he's
it is Ezra Miller, but he has like 5 o'clock shadow, and he's in a suit of armor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always thought it was just a completely different actor, honestly.
No, there's just so
not
much CG on him that it doesn't look like him.
Jesus.
And the same thing happens in that scene. It's a fully CG Ezra Miller, and it looks bad, bro. There's a lot of CG in that movie that just does not look good. And I'm gonna be honest, bro. I was gonna mention it earlier, but I forgot. You were talking about like how the Flash scenes are the only ones that have justification to be in slow-mo. I hate it. Because almost every Flash scene is in slow-mo, and I know that technically it's showing that he's so fast that this is how he sees the world. But I expect the Flash to be fast. So how about you give me more scenes where he's just zipping around like a madman? Like, I'm not saying that should be his every scene, but they went the entire opposite direction, where there's like a handful of scenes where like he just goes so fast that all you see is the aftermath, and then every other scene is just him doing the...
It gets tiring, for sure.
It gets tiresome, bro, because then it's just like, I don't even feel like his power is him going fast anymore. It feels like his power is slowing down time.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing in, like, a lot of superhero, like, even in the Sonic movie, they fell to that trope, where it's like... I feel like it's because... people really liked it in the X-Men movie.
Yeah.
With Evan Peters Quicksilver.
Yeah, but
And so ever since then, every superhero movie now has to have that scene.
Where they go fast, everything has to be in slow-mo. But bro,
yeah,
a good example for that is like the scene where Wonder Woman stops the bank robbery. There's a bunch of parts where she's like blocking the bullets, and she's going super fast. And I'm just like, why isn't the Flash doing that? He doesn't have to go at absolutely mind-breaking speeds every time.
Yeah.
Why can't he show a little restraint where I'll only go a little fast, you know?
He just has to go fast enough to dodge whatever is, happening.
He does that shit in the comics all the time because he says it himself, every time I do it, I burn a shit ton of calories, so I'm like a snack black hole. But yeah, if you're fucking going like at the speed of light just to dodge a bullet, yeah, probably.
Bro, even in the TV show, I feel like they do a good job balancing it. Like, there's maybe once an episode they do a slow-mo scene, but most of the other times, and maybe it's because of the budget, but like honestly, it works better because you actually get to see him being fast.
You actually see him being fast, and that's why I don't like how they're doing Flash in these movies. Also because he tends to be a little fucking obnoxious sometimes. And the other thing, what was the other thing that was saying about it?
That's the thing for me, man. Like, listen, the main thing I like about the CW Flash, which I actually don't even watch anymore because it got too CW, and maybe it always was, but I like the corniness. It reminded me a little bit of, like, the old school superhero movies. But I mainly liked, what's his name? Whoever, Barry Allen, like the actor. Yeah, I like his portrayal of Barry because he's nerdy and corny, but he's not obnoxious. Yeah. I feel like in Justice League, they wrote him to just be annoying.
Yeah, he's like, very annoying.
He's a comedic relief or whatever, but they went too far with it.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just like it feels like. It feels boring. It feels
he's a jokester.
Unimaginative.
He's the funny guy.
And like that, it's sad because Flash is one of my favorite DC heroes. Like I think he is my favorite DC hero. Like period. It's him, Green Lantern, then obviously like Batman, and then it goes down the list from there. But I love the Flash in the comics because he does it in the comics too. Occasionally he won't even break the sound barrier or even go that fast. He'll just go as fast as he needs to. In the movie, and it has to do with how Zack Snyder just wants everything ever to be absolutely epic. And he's not good at just showing restraint, I feel, in these things. He like portrays his heroes as gods, and then all the regular people are just disposable garbage. But the problem with that then is that he doesn't know how to balance the power scaling, because then, compared to Superman, everybody else is just fucking useless. Because Superman can do everything else the rest of the team can do, and he's not good at showing like why the rest of the team is necessary or their specialties.
How do they balance that in like the comics, by the way? Because see, I didn't know much about DC growing up. I was always more into Marvel with like the video games, and I didn't really read comics, honestly. It was mainly video games that I played. But I did watch I knew about the Justice League show, and I actually used to like the Batman show. That's the only one I would watch, was the Batman Beyond or whatever. But, like, how do they balance that in the comics? Like, Superman just... And maybe it's not like that, because from all the media modern Marvel or DC stuff, Superman just seems like a god compared to everyone else.
Yeah. Usually how they did it in the comics is that there were tasks that were a little bit too small for like Superman to like do properly. Where like he was so
like he doesn't
strong,
give it.
where usually like it always put it in a sense where there were situations where really the specialties of these characters came out. Like, even though Superman is incredibly intelligent, he doesn't have the detective mind that Batman has for deduction. And finding those weaknesses and analysis. So they would write situations in the comics where that, a situation had to be solved based on that specialty, and Superman wasn't the man for the job for it. Or Aquaman usually had to deal with like very Atlantean problems and stuff like that, and blah. Basically scenarios where each character had their specialty. But in this movie, Batman suffers from that the most, where in the final scene, all he's doing is just fucking, blasting motherfuckers, smoking all these parademons with big guns and all this stuff, and, Everybody else is actually going over there to kick Steppenwolf's ass, and Batman's just like, do, using fucking guns, you know?
Which sucks, because that's not what Batman is about at all.
Exactly, and it's like, yeah, he's a little better than he is in the Justice League, because in the original one, he's awful. He doesn't even feel like that. In this one, his character is a lot more like grounded and more clever and all that stuff, and more composed. But when it comes to his actually abilities and showing off why Batman is Batman and why he's good and why he's necessary, they really just limited to like, oh yeah, well we needed him to get like the whole team together and he's got some decent leadership, but outside of that, who fucking needs him? You know?
Bro, come on. That like he can't just be the Nick Fury.
Yeah, that's
like,
what it felt like. He felt like the Nick Fury because even then, like, most of the plans were like cyborgs, and most of the problem solving became cyborgs, and then they needed.
And even Cyborg, like does he always have the mother box, or is that like a movie thing?
I don't know much about cyborgs when it comes to the comics, honestly, but I think he did.
I only know from Teen Titans, and that shit was never in the Teen Titans. Like,
but yeah, dude, it really Zack doesn't have a good sense of restraint, and that just ends up like with him burning the candle way too quickly. You know, where it becomes like you already went so big. How do you keep this interesting without going bigger? You know. You already like it's like busting your nut too quick. Like
I guess it's kind of like the Dragon Ball Super problem where they scaled Goku up so high that like everyone else just feels useless now.
Yeah.
But even they kind of found ways to sort of work around it. Like Goku still feels like he's just so insanely powerful that I don't know how they're gonna pull that off in future series.
Yeah.
But at least in the Tournament of Power and whatnot, like they had weaker enemies for the other guys to fight.
Yeah.
You know.
And even then, they still got Vegeta and shit. But, like, at the end of the day, it's like, that's another problem I have with the movie. The movie is too long. It did a lot better at recontextualizing the story and the continuity of it. But at the same time, it just feels like, he would have to be a really bad director to have 4 hours of film and not be able to do that. So I feel like the praise is definitely a little bit, obviously it deserves a degree of praise that it's getting, but at the same time, I don't feel that it's justified to be claimed to be as good as people are saying it is, because even then it still has a whole bunch of shit that made the viewing very tedious, very monotonous. By the time I got to the end of the movie, I was begging for it to finish and I had a headache. I didn't care what the fuck was happening anymore, and I don't know. I don't find his characters all that interesting,
I feel that's one of the worst things about it is the fact that it's so long. Like, how is anyone ever gonna... It's not like a popcorn movie, like a superhero movie, I feel that the appeal of superhero movies is you can throw them on whenever and just enjoy, like, superheroes bashing each other or bashing the villain or whatever. But with this, it's like... You would have to skip like the first 2 hours,
dude,
to get to anything remotely interesting.
The first hour and a half of the movie is just boring, and a lot of reviewers say that like if it's not that big of a deal, and I'm like, if half your movie sucks, I think that's a pretty big deal. Where it's like they're like, oh, the first hour and a half of the movie is honestly pretty skippable. It's not all that good, but boy, is that last hour and a half great. And I'm like, so. That's like a whole half of the movie where you're like completely uninterested, unengaged, and is not good. And then you're just like, oh yeah, but the last half's not in my fucking opinion, bro. I was just like so jaded from the first half where like the second half came out and I'm just like, all right, cool, I guess. Move it along. Like,
that's why I would be for it being a miniseries, because then they could have had, like an episode just for Cyborg, an episode just for Flash.
Yeah.
And then if you just want to watch them bash Steppenwolf, then that's its own episode, That would have made some sense to me. I don't know.
No, it would make sense. That's how I expected it to be. But no. Whole 4 hour thing. And some people say just like take breaks in between. But the way the movie is split, its chapters, it wouldn't be good at all, dude. Because the chapters do not end in ways where you're just like, oh yeah, I could wait another while before I want to continue. It doesn't end in certain like high points in the plot where it makes sense for this to be like an end of a chapter. It's always like very random and strange and like the first 3-4 chapters are just a whole lot of nothing and boring and And then the last half is just like, all right, let's wrap it up. And I don't find it all that exciting. And I found the whole Superman waking up pissed kind of pointless and a waste of time and unexciting. And
let's wrap it up with that then, because didn't they like totally sequel bait at the end too?
Oh yeah, they would like fucking spoiler, go away if you don't want spoilers. Would like fucking
we already did.
Martian Manhunter coming out of nowhere,
shit, yeah.
where I was just like, why? Because then there was also a scene in the middle of the film where he shows up beforehand that felt so fucking strange. Where I don't know if you've seen this scene where it's like where Martha, Ma Kent,
he's like
goes to
Lois Lane
to give her like a pep
Superman's
talk,
mom,
and it was a very good scene. That was the one scene in the movie where I was just like, oh, I give a shit,
Zaki, what are you doing to me?
What they're saying. This is a very heartfelt and like character-driven scene. The dialogue is really good. Wowzers! Why isn't this the rest of the movie? And then Ma Kent leaves the building and turns into a fucking Martian Manhunter, and I'm like, what? What? That was what? People are complaining about Ralph Boner, but then fucking Zack Snyder pulls this shit.
Ralph Boner, oh no.
Like, what the fuck was that? How would you just take that away from us just to like shoo in Martian Manhunter for no reason? He doesn't have to be in this movie. And if you wanted him to be in the movie, why didn't you just keep it with that last scene? Why the fuck does he just show up out of nowhere for that one scene, with that actual one good scene, and then it just...
It's literally like Monster Hunter, which I guess we shouldn't talk about too much.
Yeah,
but,
not yet at least.
Bruh, it's like, I mean, I guess a lot of movies do that, where they just... You can tell they really desperately want a sequel, so they'll throw in this big twist right at the end, like, guess what's coming up? Y'all better buy these fucking tickets so you can see Superman angry.
Yeah. I didn't... fucking... Not good movie. See. That's all it gets from me, bro. I didn't...
You don't want to be like a cosmonaut real quickie? Just, it was alright. 8 out of 10.
No, dude. I was actually shocked that Marcus liked this movie, man, because it has
I feel like
it has so many things that he's given so much shit for other movies to have. Where I was surprised. I still respect his opinion. He's one of my favorite reviewers out there. He's very funny, and I like his shit. And I usually agree with a lot of these things, but I was actually really surprised that he liked this movie. I feel like he was just happy that he finally had some good reasons to like the heroes that he's always wanted to like in film. And I feel like he's really like, that's really, but then again, I don't want to assume his intentions, his ideas, especially if that's not what he's spoken in his videos. So I'm not going to claim that as any kind of fucking dogma. But yeah, I was surprised, and like he's doing this whole thing.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a lot of DC fans, like
so.
Just them because it's rough for DC fans, man. Imagine I don't know, people like a little older that actually grew up with the comics, and they haven't had a single good representation of the heroes. Like if they were DC fans, like it's not fair.
It isn't, but at the same time, they could
Compared
be a bunch
to Marvel.
of bitches about it too. Sometimes, where they'll like needlessly hate Marvel and the MCU and anything that has to do with it just because they're getting screwed over. I see a lot of those.
Yeah. No, that's true too.
But obviously that's not all of them. But yeah, no, dude. I'm surprised. A lot of the reviewers have liked it. Said it was good, but honestly, for me, not that good. Not that good.
That was the main thing that I found funny. Like this man was like, I was rewatching some of his older reviewers for Cosmonaut. He's like,
Zack Snyder,
Black Panther, not that good. Or yeah, it was all right. 6 out of 10. Justice League. Oh, that was all right. 8 out of 10. Like what?
I've always seen like Marcus. He's like a comedian first and a reviewer second, which is why I love his
yeah.
shit.
That's why I never really care about scores at the end of any review, because in the end you have to like listen to all the other points. Yeah. The score is just like, I feel more of a necessity just out of like tradition, if anything.
Yeah. Oh boy. To everyone listening, I'm gonna tell you, man. If you don't have an actual genuine interest in any of this, do not waste the 4 fucking hours watching that movie. It is not.
I did it, bro. I already knew I wasn't about to sit through 4 hours of it, and I feel like I've seen the original. I watched like the Flash scene. That's all I really cared about, honestly. And I like the Flash scenes. I can't say that I hate the movie because I didn't even watch the full 4 hours. But as a Flash fan, I just liked seeing him be more like Flash. But at the same time, it was a little obnoxious. That's about it. That's my takeaway.
The one thing that always breaks my immersion, and I cannot get behind, never, no matter what. Physically, yes. The way she's presented in scenes, yes. But as soon as she opens her mouth, no. And it's
Wonder Woman?
Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman, bro.
Oh, no.
I can't do it. I can't. I really don't think she's a good actress, man.
In the beginning, the age of men.
When she does the exposition scene, I was just like, you could not have picked the worst person out of this cast to read exposition. You could have not.
The age of Aquarius.
Done it. You could have.
And the men came with their spears.
That scene was looking
killed.
so epic, and then it was like hearing Gal Gadot read a fucking kindergarten book to her daughter or something. I was just.
It's not even her accent; it's the way she reads it.
Yeah, the way like she has no gravitas. The way she carries her voice and tonality has no range. In every scene, she talks the same. No matter what kind of scene it is, whether it's a jokey scene, an angry scene, a sad scene, or if she's going, Kal-El, no! It doesn't matter what she's saying. It's fucking awful. And I can't do it. I can't do
it. She reminds me of Borat. Like, you know how Borat, he doesn't get jokes all the time? Like,
yeah.
He comes off very, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Disingenuous, like that one scene
he doesn't
where
really
she
get
goes
it
to the little girl, and the little girl's like, "Can I be like you one day?" And she's like, "No, you're Palestinian." That I felt like that was a little bit unnecessary.
Detached is what I'm trying to say. Like, she's not really part of this world, which she isn't, and maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know,
dude, but I can't take her seriously. I can't do it. She breaks my immersion entirely. Like, everybody in that movie is doing for a decent to good job at times, and she just falls flat for me every single time. I can't think of a scene with Wonder Woman where she's talking that's good.
So now let's just be real for a second, Gabe. Let's tell the viewers how they need to go get an HBO Max subscription and watch all 4 hours, and let us know what they think in the comments.
Get an HBO. Look, this is what you're gonna do. All right, viewers, you're gonna get yourself on HBO Max subscription. Whether you get it for a friend or you do the free trial, right? You're gonna get it. Prepare yourself a snack, whether it's a little bit of popcorn, popcorn or some celery sticks with some orange juice, cool. You get comfy in your gamer chair, and with your 3-monitor setup, your wide curved gamer monitor that goes all around your head. And you get nice and comfy, you have your gamer girl GF sitting next to you, your arm around her, you give her a kiss on the cheek, you say, I love you, babe. You get nice and comfy, and then you wait till March 31st to watch Godzilla vs. Kong.
Nice. I was going to go somewhere similar and say you just throw on Alien or Westworld or anything else that's on HBO.
It is not worth it. It's not good. It is not good. But that all right, that's as far as I'm gonna rant about it, bro, because I could go all fucking day about it.
I believe it, man. I feel like I haven't even seen the damn thing, and just off of how much I've heard other people talk about it, and granted, I keep saying I haven't seen it, but by watching reviews, you see a lot of scenes from it. Like, I've seen the Ma Kent scene. Yeah, I've seen the Flash scenes. I actually did. For some of them, I went and skipped to it in HBO. Like, and then other ones, obviously, you watch it without audio, but you still get enough of the context to where,
Yeah, you could postulate at least an initial opinion about it. To where you can tell
I know
yourself,
I have enough of an opinion to say that you shouldn't watch it.
Oh boy! But other than that, we're gonna get back to our regular scheduling. We got some videos in the back burner to release for you guys on the channel. I've just been really sitting down and working on getting my streaming stuff started to finally start streaming within the next week. I just right now I'm just working on the stream assets, and then that'll be done and done, and I'll finally be able to begin. And we're also like working on, we're gonna be ordering the computer, the new PC. Finally,
oh my god!
Which we cannot thank you enough for all the support and the generosity that you guys gave us on that stream. It was so much fun, except for when we had to eat those bugs. That still haunts me, but it was so much fun, and you know I can't thank you guys enough. The generosity was incredible. So get ready, because the shit that's gonna be coming from here on out is gonna be good. I'm very excited. Are you excited?
Hell yeah.
Really? How excited are you?
Oh.